Hey, how's it going, everyone? Welcome back to Mentor Monday. It's been a couple of weeks. Mentor Monday is your weekly microdose of encouragement, inspiration, and miracle grow on your potential as a coach. The way we always love to start. Some of you know the drill right here. Let us know that you're here. I'm over here in the studio in California, so I don't have the luxury of seeing your beautiful faces or hearing your voices. The next best thing was that you actually jump in the chat and tell us where you're joining us from, what you're excited about, what you feel life and momentum on in your life. So let me say hello to a few people who are saying hello to me. And there is Donna saying, I am here. Welcome, Donna. There's Joan that is joining us from Bakersfield. Claire is saying hello. Hey, Claire. Anybody else, as you're making it into the room, again, I always want to acknowledge you. And also, we have a little bit of time for questions. So if you have any questions while I'm talking and giving you a little bit of inspiration today, then I definitely want to help you in that. Anyway, it is a little bit mild over here in California. We just got through a bunch of storms over here, and so we're kind of surfacing again to have a little bit of sunny weather, but it's also really cold at night. It's kind of like weird, like California. The weather, we can't figure out what it wants to do yet. There's Sandy saying hello to us from New Jersey. Very good. Hey, so let me make sure that I actually have my clicker. Where is my clicker? That would be an important thing to have right now. Where's the clicker? The clicker is gone. It's not right here. Well, I'll figure it out because we do have a touch screen. Jace, who's saying joining from Hong Kong, busy working on my website, so I'm really excited for the new series. Cool. Well, perfect timing. So what are we talking about today? Well, one of the major problems that I see with coaches has to do with their marketing. So what I find a lot of people do is they invest a lot of time and they invest a lot of money in becoming a coach. But becoming a coach is not your end game. Your end game is actually changing the world, which probably involves coaching people. So coaching is our vehicle, right? It's what we do. It's our gift to the world that we give to people in order that they get launched into what their calling and their purpose is in the world. Help them get their breakthroughs, help them get past their barriers and live the life that they were really meant to live. So I find a lot of coaches, at least starting out, spend a lot of time studying, a lot of time learning, a lot of money investing in their education, but they didn't give any thought in the very beginning to their actual career, which means that now that you've gotten started, that you guys are all finding out, if you've gotten started, that coaching's 10% coaching, it's 90% business. What you've learned in terms of helping people and everything else is extraordinary, but you need somebody to actually coach, right? And so one of the things that I see is very common is that people go and get their training and certification and probably thousands of dollars pour. And then they are like excited about it, but then they're like, well, I don't know how to actually get clients. And so what they end up doing is that they end up emulating other people on social media, emulating other coaching websites that they see. And then they wonder why the clientele is less than a trickle for them in their business. And so what the intention of this series is, and I've spent countless hundreds, even thousands of hours helping coaches think through the real small practical steps of getting their businesses launched. Because I don't think that launching a coaching practice is rocket science. I really don't think that it's hard, especially compared to other businesses out there that people do. But coaches make really simple things really hard because they put a bunch of stuff out there that actually isn't opening the door for their business. And it's okay. Like, hey, you don't need an MBA to become a coach. You don't need an MBA or a lot of business training in order to be successful. I'm taking it upon myself. Inside of Life Coach Training Institute, our 4-word mission statement is proficient coaches. We want you to have the skills, and we want you to be an extraordinary coach. We want you to help people get results. But the other side is a thriving practice. What are the steps to actually being successful as a business person so that coaching, if you don't want it to be your side gig or something that you kind of do over here with a couple of people, what if you actually wanted that to be a real, like, that your calling and your vocation could be the same thing? Wouldn't that be an amazing thing? Some of you are joining us and you're coming from a ministry background. Wouldn't it be amazing that your ministry and your vocation could be exactly the same thing? And it can be. But we need to not keep making the same mistakes that we've been making. And so I'm going to show you really what that looks like. Where we're starting tonight is really with the whole idea of choosing a niche. And a lot of coaches, when they're starting out, just talk about becoming a life coach. They haven't really considered a niche or any kind of a specialization. Just wanted to get over here again. If you want to jump inside of the chat widget, please let us know that you're here. And if you have any questions or comments, fill up those comments, because I will come back and I'll answer any of those things as we come back. So here's what I find, because people are like, well, why should I choose a niche? Because you get a little bit of pushback from coaches when they are first starting out. So Paul, why should I choose a niche? Well, this is coming usually from a coach who, when they're thinking about things in their business, I understand that a lot of coaches don't choose a niche because they're afraid that it's going to close the door to a lot of potential clients. So a lot of coaches want to be generalists and act like they can help everybody. And so what ends up happening is that they have a message that's extraordinarily broad, and it usually sounds like this. And no shame on any of you who already have this on your social media or on your website. It sounds like something like this: live your best life. Let me close the gap from where you are to where you want to be. And that's what everybody says. And you know what the problem is? It's not tangible. It's general. It's generic. It's what everybody else is saying. And the problem is that coaches are saying it, but your ideal client is not saying that at all. And they're not even thinking about that. You know, most people did not roll out of bed this morning saying, I just want to live my best life today. Matter of fact, it's kind of become a joke. I just want you guys to know, if you're using that, it's actually become a joke. If you've been on social media anytime lately, they usually make it a joke of somebody who's doing something that in many cases is really funny, like a little kid or their cat or whatever. And they say, oh, well, look at Jesse. They're living their best life. And it's kind of a fun little thing that people say. So the reality is that we're saying things. We think that making a big broad door and being really generally having our arms wide open to everybody is what will actually bring people in, but it's actually creating a barrier for your business. See, generalist life coaches have a much more difficult time getting clients because no one knows what they do or who they help. Now, imagine that you have a problem, because everybody's got problems in the world. There's nobody without a problem. And a good quality problem means that there's a business that can thrive, because all businesses thrive because there is a problem. We all understand that? Live your best life doesn't sound like much of a problem. It sounds like something that someone who already has too much money and doesn't know where to spend it all will spend their money on something that's just wide open and general, like live your best life. But most people are very practical. They want good investments and things and everything else. So if somebody's got a problem, they're looking to solve their problem. Imagine that you're driving down the freeway. You're traveling to wherever. Let's say that I saw that someone, let me say hello to a couple of people in here really quick. I see Melissa from Ohio, Diane joining us from South Carolina, Ann is joining us from Minnesota. But let's imagine that, well, we're all going to get in the car over here in California. We're all going to join Melissa in Ohio. So we all load up in a car and we're on the freeway, or if you prefer to say interstate on the way to Ohio. And we start seeing that, oh, wow, the gas is below a quarter of a tank. So we need to start so everybody in the car, have your eyes out for what? A gas station. Because we have our eyes open, then what we're going to do is that we're going to go to the next place. Listen, you guys don't have to be afraid. We're running out of gas, but I promise you we're not going to run out of gas. We're going to find the next gas station that's coming up. So we're driving through and everybody's got their eyes peeled. And we're looking for what? What's going to solve our problem? And so what comes up in view? Usually way up in the sky somewhere. A lot of times they'll have their prices up there, and it will usually be a brand, or in most cases, there'll even be signs on the interstate or the freeway as you're going there that says, gas, next exit, 2 miles. That's really, really helpful. And as we get closer, they're going to have signage that says gas, and sometimes it'll have their prices or whatever. And so what is it doing is that it's directing me to go and solve my problem over here. My problem is I'm about to run out of gas and I got all these people and it's cold and I don't want to be walking. And none of us want to be walking trying to figure out how to get gas back to the car. Now, imagine if you're driving through and it just said general store. Like literally general store. And that's what it says. But it doesn't say gas on it. I don't know that general store has gas, but maybe they do. Maybe they are a big place that has everything. They got gas, they've got air fresheners, they've got fried chicken, they got all kinds of different things over there. But general store doesn't tell me anything that indicates that they can solve my problem. They might be able to solve my problem for a fraction of the cost. And I would be highly interested in that because right now I'm not thinking necessarily about chicken. I'm not thinking about air fresheners or some of those other kinds of things. I'm not thinking of probably a lot of the things that they are selling under that banner. What I am thinking about is my problem. And it's the only thing that's got my attention right now. General store is not going to solve my problem, though on their end, they might have. And they said, well, we wanted to be a general store because we do more than gas. But see, they're not solving my problem. They're not talking about my problem. So it's not going to get me to take the next exit off of the freeway to find them. And so I'll go to another one who specifically talks about what they do and what their problem is. And so what we have to understand why we want to choose a niche is that generalist life coaches, people don't know what coaches do anyway, and no one knows what a coach does that is a life coach. So they don't know who they help or what problems that they help people solve. We have to understand that the world has become increasingly specialized, and people are now accustomed. They are wired to think, hey, if I've got liver issues, if I've got stomach problems, if I've got, let's say I got a sore throat, you know what? There are some little bitty things that you can go to a primary care for. But if you have anything that's past the sniffles, you probably need to find a specialist. You need to find someone who actually knows all about this particular system. And listen, would you rather get surgery by a primary care who does a little bit of everything, or an ER doctor? No knock on those people. They're great. But you guys all know that ER doctors are really great for those kinds of problems. I broke my arm. They can put me in a splint, but you know what I have to do? I have to schedule with a specialist. They can only help me in like that little transition point. And most of us don't want to go to the ER if we can avoid it. Man, if I can just go right in to see a specialist, that's what I'm going to choose to do. This is the way that the world thinks. So they're always going to be looking for who are the people who are talking about the problem that I have so that I can get it solved. We have to also understand that when you choose a niche, this is an invitation. It's like when you're driving down the interstate and you see a sign and your problem is gas, it's an invitation. Come over here, get your problem solved. That's what it really is. It's not closing the door. It's making it really obvious where the door is and where you need to go get the solution. It's all about creating a door where the right kinds of people, and this is what you've got to think about. It's not just about trying to get clients. What you want is that you want the right kinds of people to come to you as easily as possible. You want to make it easy for them. They shouldn't have to ask a bunch of questions about what do you do and all that other stuff. It should be really easy and very obvious so that they can find you really easily. Not only your ideal client, but one of your friends who might send referrals to you. Some other people who are in business that might send referrals to you. On this call right now, or on this live, is Joan Raymond. She is a writing coach. Anybody who's wanting to write a book, you've got barriers, you've got problems, you've got one of those book ideas that's been sitting there, you've written the first chapter and you haven't worked on it or anything else. That is her wheelhouse. I wouldn't tell her to tell you guys to come to me or anybody else I know. I know what she does. She gets results, and that's where you should go. But she tells everybody what she does. She is a writing coach. And then some of the products that she offers is all about getting those barriers out of the way and getting on track with what you're supposed to be doing. Now, there might be some other people who are wanting to finish a book, but they're not going to look for a life coach for that. Could a life coach generally help them? Well, maybe a little bit, but not like Joan would. And no one would expect. But when people know, hey, I know this writing coach over here. I've got a friend that's got a book idea that they've been sitting on and haven't gotten anything done. They feel like they need some accountability. Bam, opens the door, right? Well, I know this life coach who might be able to help you get a book started. I don't think that I need a life coach. I need somebody who actually knows something about books and can help me get there. See how that makes sense to people? People are really simple. They make simple connections to these kinds of things. And that's what we have to not underestimate that. Choosing a niche also begins with knowing yourself. You know why? This is it's about getting the right kinds of people, because you will not help everybody equally. You will not be able to help everybody to the best of your ability. There are going to be some people who seem to be wired. There's a design in them, that there's a design in you as a coach, and you seem to be a match made in heaven. I know that as well. There's a certain profile. I always have my potential clients or new clients, whatever, I will have them take StrengthsFinder. Why? Because I was trained in StrengthsFinder. I got certified in it and all of those other things. And so I know what the results actually mean. And I know that there's a certain profile of an individual that works really, really well with my personality type and my gift mix and my passions and all of that other stuff. And you know what? That person deserves someone. Every client deserves a coach who believes in them, loves them, actually loves their design and gets them and everything else. And I would, and when I look at some people, I'm like, you know what? There's other coaches who could help you better than me. But there's some particular profiles that I know when I wake up in the morning, I'm excited about working with this individual. And they're going to be excited about coming and working with me. And we're going to get extraordinary results working together. But how do you choose a niche? I want to give you a couple of things today. And some of the things that I'm going to give you are things that actually out of our Jumpstart course and out of our Brain Camp course. We have a lot of tools that we give you to actually help you figure out what your niche is. But I want to show a couple of them to you right now that you can actually utilize today. And you know what? If we can keep walking with you past today, we would love to do that. Simple method first looks like this. The first circle that I would say here is the passion circle. And there's a lot of questions, and I'll give you some of those questions in just a moment, about what questions should you be asking about the passions that you have in your heart as a coach. You know why you want to think about your passions? Because you don't ever want to work another day for the rest of your life. I know people who have to go to work every day and they hate their jobs, they hate what they're doing, and they feel like they can't leave it and everything else. Coaches, you should never feel like that. Think about what motivates you, what demotivates you. What are the things that you're actually passionate about? That should be why one of the primary reasons why you choose a niche, because you never want to feel like you're working again. I mean, if you're doing what you're passionate about doing, it'll never feel like work again. I quit working years ago. Why? Because I do what I'm passionate about doing. I get up in the morning. I don't loathe what I do. I'm excited about it. It gives me life. I wake up in the morning. I am so thankful and I'm so grateful for what I get to do, because the end game of it is that it changes the world through the people who are transforming their lives. And specifically that I get to work with the people and the kinds of problems that they have, which leads me to this. Another circle, an interlocking circle, is the problem. Because what did I say a while ago? A niche is composed of a good, high quality problem. What are the problems that bring you to life? What problems do you like solving? What are the things that you've solved in your own life that still not necessarily keep you up in the night anymore, but they bring life to you because you're like, boy, that is a high quality problem. And I love those problems. When you hear them, they're just like, oh, like it awakens something in you. That tells you that you're onto something. When you're passionate about something and the problem awakens something in you, and you're usually pretty knowledgeable, and it's probably a giant that you've faced and you've killed in the past, that is a good indicator of where you should be working. And the third part of that circle, and you can see how things interlock, is your people. Because what do we really find in this thing is that just because you could work with anybody as a generalist life coach doesn't mean that you should. You should work with the people that you're most passionate about. People who have a particular problem that you are passionate about, because you shouldn't be working with people that demotivate you. You shouldn't be working with people that you don't enjoy. Listen, if you go for the money and you're in lack, you'll start and you haven't thought about what your niche is, you'll start working with people that you shouldn't be working with. And there's nothing worse than showing up to a coaching appointment and you're like, man, I'm meeting with this person and I'm just not excited about it. I'm just not looking forward to it. Don't do this to yourself. Don't do it to them. Don't do it to yourself. Don't sell out for money. Find the people that you're most passionate about. I'll give you some questions in a moment to show you how that works. Now, when you combine all of these things together, what you end up finding is a simple method for a niche. It's the problems that you're passionate about solving. And it's also the people you are passionate about who are willing to pay for it. That's what a niche is. So think about it in this simple method. What are you passionate about? What are the problems that you love helping people solve? And who are those people? Because what you'll find in your life is that there's probably a group of people that can consistently, there's something about them. They're probably a certain age. They might be a woman, a man, I don't know. It might be just specifically in that. They might have certain values about them. There might be certain things which you'll be able to look back on is that there's certain groups of people or certain types of identifiers about an individual when you look back and say, oh, these are the people that seem to keep coming to me for advice. That's what they did in the past life. These are the people who are always seeking me out. I keep being a listening ear and attracting. That's a good indicator. It's like magnetism. I attract these certain kinds of people. And if you're passionate about them, I know sometimes we attract negative people, but if you're passionate about those people, then bring them up close. It's probably going to be what your niche actually is. So let me say hello to a couple more people because I'm going to give you one more method to do this. Marina is joining us from British Columbia, Canada. Melvin is joining us from Virginia. My first Mentor Monday. Welcome, Melvin. All right. Too much, huh? Bill, cold for us in Texas. I want a warm niche. There you go. Hey, there's Harvey. Harvey, you haven't seen the wannabe beard that I'm trying to grow. I saw a guy with like a real beard, and I saw him like 2 days ago, and his name was Hunter of all things. And I'm like, wow, like you look the part. I'm like, and here I am with I'm an underachieving Palestinian that can't grow a beard. I got all these gaps, but I'm going to give it a couple more weeks and see what happens. Harvey says, I never work. Newark, Delaware is in the room. Alex is in the room. Welcome. All right. So let's jump back in. Let me give you this whiteboard. And what I'm going to show you, and this is one of the tools that we give you inside of Brain Camp. Brain Camp's actually available for any Jumpstart student. So if you join our Jumpstart program, it's our business development program. You get trained and certified. You get business development help, and we also have mentoring and a bunch of other things in there in a killer group of people who are absolutely brilliant. But what I did is I stole one of the tools, and I have a lot of tools in there for helping you clarify what your niche is. And this is one of them that I'm going to share with you for free. Okay. So where else do you want to look when it comes to choosing a niche? Well, one place that you want to look is that you want to look right now in your talents and skills. Why is that? Because sometimes where you're going to find your niche, what did I say a while ago? It starts with knowing who you are. It starts with your self-knowledge. So a lot of times people don't really think about the things that they're passionate about doing. I think of one of our coaches, her name is Angela, and she is a classically trained soprano. She knows a lot about music. She knows so much about that industry. She's very connected there and everything else. And it's something that she still makes money at and she's still passionate about doing. And so what she's done is that she's figured out how to leverage that to help people, because it really is it's a hard business. It's a hard place where there's a lot of criticism out there, and there's a lot of self-criticism. There's a lot of perfectionism and everything else. So what she was able to do is look in her life at some of the things that she's already really good at. I mean, look in your life right now. What skills do people commend you for or ask you to do? What can you do that most people cannot do? Think about those talent and skills questions. Here's another one. Experiences. What life experiences were defining for me? What life experiences bring joy to me? And what life experiences changed my life? One of our coaches, her name is Tara. She's in our program right now. She started out thinking, well, she's going to coach women or whatever. And she had a very thing that she thought that she was going to do when she started out, until she started going through all of the information here, like the niche kinds of things and everything else. And you know where she landed? Blended families, something that she has a passion about, she has an experience in, and everything else. And so what ended up happening is that it just became blatantly obvious to her where she should be directing her time. She's got a beautiful blended family, and she knows the challenges. She knows the things that hurt. She knows some of the problems, some of the clear problems that people maybe don't think about when they come into a blended family and everything else. And so she knows all of the pain points, and she identified about 7 major pain points. And that's what she does, is that she helps people. She talks about those pain points, and that's how she's drawing people into that door. And so don't underestimate your experiences. Don't underestimate the fact that you guys have knowledge right now. What subjects do you know a lot about? Harvey, who's on the call right now on this live with us, is already a 6-figure coach. He was retired for a few years and said, I'm not really made for retirement. And I agree, because I don't think that anybody's actually made for retirement. Comes back. What was he passionate about doing? And what did he do for many years, in his career? Is that he worked in sales. But he also knows a lot of different things about the barriers and the struggles that most coaches, what most salespeople have and everything else. So he's put together a brilliant coaching program that not only helps people on the skill side of things, but he's also got a plan to help them with the mental game, the roller coaster ride that is sales, and all of those other kinds of things. So it's absolutely brilliant. So being able to bring knowledge in, bring passion in. What are you passionate about? What values? What are the things in the world that you are most passionate about? What's most important to you? Another thing, what's your primary mission and purpose? Think about those things that if you were going to give your life to something, what's the end game and what do you want to see happen? What's the biggest frustration? When you see people in their lives, what's the biggest frustration that you see with regard to the potential of people? What's the biggest thing that you see missing in the lives of people that you could help them find? Going back to that problems thing, what problems excite you? What specific problems do people come to you about? What problem areas do people have that make something rise up in you? That's a really good indicator that that's a niche for you. And like I was saying a bit ago, the people. What kinds of people have you helped in the past? What kinds of people do you enjoy being around? You know what? You should be choosing people that you want to be around. You should be choosing a niche that you would actually spend your free time with. If you weren't doing work, that you would actually choose to hang out with these people. That's when I thought about it really early on. I was kind of like wide open. I'll take whatever. And then I had this one client who wanted to start a business, and it was just like, it just wasn't enjoyable. And it's like, man, I'm having to spend half of this session trying to do things to motivate them. But I realized what brought me to life was all the people who I didn't have to motivate. They were wired in a certain way. And I'm like, dude, I need to work with those people more or whatever. So I made a choice in that matter, that I'm never going to work with people that I don't enjoy being around. That I decided that I'm never going to work with people that I didn't look forward to seeing. And I also found that there was a certain demographic of these people as well when I thought about it and I did the math. Now, no knock on those people, because there's no dishonor on anybody out there. There is a coach for them that will absolutely be able to come to the table and can serve them in a great way. And they need to be able to find those people. And that's the way that we need to honor people. Hey, I'm not perfect for everybody. I wouldn't even be a good coach for some people, but I can be an amazing coach for some people. And you will be an amazing coach for other people that I can't help. That's one of the things that we're going to recognize. Again, what I want to remind you is that all this stuff that I'm even showing you and talking to you goes to great detail, because Brand Camp has about 13 hours where we walk you through everything inside of branding to be able to help you build your business. Let me pay the bills really quick, and I'm going to get to your questions. For those of you who have not gotten trained and certified as a coach, everything that I'm talking about times about 50 is inside of our Jumpstart program. Because inside of Jumpstart, we do training, certification. You get your certificate. You get a free listing on lifecoachmatch.com. But again, what did I say? Coaching's 90% business. It's 10% of what you actually learn in school. So what do we do inside of our Jumpstart program? Well, for one, let me talk about what you get in terms of the training and certification side. We have live training every Tuesday at 5 p.m. It's 7 p.m. Central, 8 p.m. Eastern. And what we do is rolling sessions. And so we roll through all 7 of our core sessions of both the Life Coach Certification course and boot camp. Foundations of Coaching, the anatomy of a dynamic coaching session, how to help your clients get extraordinary results, 2 sessions on listening, how to listen on a transformational level, how to ask powerful questions, how to establish a growing coaching practice. And every one of our sessions have live Q&As, but we also do live coaching demos so that you can practice becoming a client or a coach. And we give you feedback on those things in real time because we actually do all of those sessions by Zoom. Now, the Life Coach Certification course is also self-paced, so that when you enroll, you have instant access. It takes you 90 seconds to get enrolled. You have instant access to all of these things. You'll also be automatically registered for our next live weekend boot camp. The next one is going to be March 17th through the 19th. So if you want to get all your training knocked out in a single weekend, that's one of the ways that you do it. Also, you get your certificate, unique credential ID, and free listing on lifecoachmatch.com. If you paid for the Life Coach certification course by itself, that would be $195. If you paid for boot camp by itself, it's $247. We're giving you all of this for $97 a month with a 3-month minimum commitment. And I haven't even started talking about the business development side. Brand Camp is 13 hours of step-by-step on marketing messaging, how to develop your website, SEO, how to write a sales page, how to write an email, tools, bonuses. We show you everything. If I just showed you the SEO part, that's worth thousands of dollars in and of itself. But we literally, we wireframe a website. We show you where to put things, and it's really, really simple. But we craft your messaging. You'll walk away. You won't have any problems with any things that I'm talking about over the next few weeks. All of that gets solved immediately through the tools that are inside of this particular course, and it's available inside of our Jumpstart program. You also get the coaching product launch blueprint. It's 8 sessions, 10 hours of walkthrough, step-by-step, from brainstorming from zero to launch. So if you're thinking about an online course, if you're thinking about a group coaching program, because I always tell our coaches, you can create a lot of streams of income for your business. This is what this is about. I don't want you sitting there trading time for money with just one-on-one clients. You can maximize your time. You can become a 6-figure coach relatively easy. But we give you all this, the 14-day product launch sequence. We show you what do you do with social media. All of those things is actually covered in the coaching product launch blueprint. Everything that I've talked about, Jumpstart's $97 a month with a 3-month minimum commitment. The core business development roadmap, how to discover your niche, how to attract clients, all these things, your weekly strategy, your tools for traditional and online coaching practice, pricing, coaching agreements, how to close, all of those things. It's only $97 a month. Now, I know some of you have looked around at coaching programs. You know that they cost in the thousands. There's no one who's coming close to giving you everything, like literally. This is turnkey. We give you everything that you need. Plus, we have a live group call every Wednesday so that you can get in the room with brilliant people just like you who are at various stages of launching their practice. You can get feedback on anything that you're working on. You can get support, all of those things. If you just saw the group alone, that pays for itself, having the access to all of these aspiring and up-and-coming coaches. But you get me in that live session on Wednesdays where if you have anything, you have a new website, you recorded a session with a client, you want us to listen to it and give you feedback on it. We do all of that in there. Listen, you don't have to do this thing alone. I did, but I'd say that a lot of people try to do this thing alone and it's really a struggle, and you don't have to struggle. We'll walk alongside you. We'll take you by the hand. We'll show you the how to, and we'll help you build your coaching practice around who you are and around what your passionate niche is supposed to be. Let me say hello to a couple of more people who have said hello to me in here. Passion has made ADHD life coaching a joy so far. So good. And that's a great niche. And some of our coaches have actually grabbed a hold of that. It's awesome. Harvey says, if you want to make money at this, join Jumpstart. Thank you, Harvey. Alex says, I'm also a Lyft driver, and I find myself giving coaching sessions during 95% of my coaching rides. That is a great thing. And I tell our coaches all the time, if you want to get practice, just look at employing those question asking skills and those listening skills. They can happen anywhere that you find yourself. So that's amazing. Jay says, the Jumpstart program looks amazing, honestly. Thank you. And again, that link is inside of the description of this video. It'll take you about 90 seconds to get enrolled, and we would love for you to join us. Tomorrow night, you could be with us in live training, and that you can also join us Wednesday for our next group call. Let's do this thing. You know that January is already over? It's over. Like, it's over tomorrow. So some of you thought you would be trained and certified as a coach in 2022 and get your business up and going. Now you've already missed your deadline for New Year's resolution, except that the year isn't over. And obviously your life is not over yet. Some of you who think that, hey, maybe I'm too old, I'm too late in life, it's too late to start a career. Listen, the reality is that our culture may be infatuated with youth, but that's not how any culture in the past ever understood things. What did you know when you were a teenager, or what did you wish you knew when you were a teenager that you know now? What are the things that you wish you knew in your 20s or in your 30s or whatever that you know now? See, the thing is that convergence actually happens around age 50. And so everything's pretty much practice until age 50 for most of us. And so what we have to understand is that these markers, and I've done it with so many people throughout the years, is that they find out not only is life not over, actually in the past, you had no credibility until you started hitting 50, 60 years old. You had to have a life that was lived. You needed to have some scars. You needed to have a limp. You needed to have some notches in your belt. You needed to have some losses, and you needed to have some wins. And that's true for really everyone that I'm talking to right now. If you're a little bit younger, that's fine. You still would look back 10 years before, and you're like, man, I know so much more now. I know how it helped people. I know more because I've defeated some of the giants and everything else. Well, now's the perfect time. This is why you need to say yes to what your calling and purpose is in life. Listen, the world's waiting on you. And I think that the earth is shaking literally under your feet, and it's waiting on you to become who you're made to be. So quit putting it off. The world's waiting on you. Okay. Listen, I appreciate you guys so much. Let me see what I saw in the comments. The Jumpstart program helps get you off the fence. Thank you, Sandy. And I see PBS publication says outstanding. Thank you so much. Well, all right, everyone. Well, listen, everyone, I appreciate you immensely. Hit that link, get enrolled. Hopefully I'll see you tomorrow night for training. No more excuses, right? All right. Listen, February is almost here. I hope that you join us in February and we absolutely crush your goals. So appreciate you so much. Have a great rest of your week and take care.